Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/EntitledPeople. Hope you're all doing awesome today, and let's get right into today's Reddit posts. We need that house more than you because we have kids. 5 years ago, my husband and I bought a house. We'd been saving for years now for the down payment, and the stars must have aligned for us to get it. Everything worked out perfectly. The house was a major fixer-upper, but it had land and we were happy with that. Turns out my brother-in-law had looked at the house when it was listed as well. They decided it was too much work to fix up and not worth it. They wanted major upgrades too, whereas my husband and I are very simple people. We don't need granite countertops or a soaking tub or hardwood throughout. Met up with the family recently, and the brother-in-law was talking about how cramped their condo has become with 2 kids now. Brother-in-law decided this was the time to tell us that we should trade houses. I shit you not. Brother-in-law is very entitled. He proceeded to argue that we are only 2 people, and their family is growing and could use the space. Literally suggested that we give ours to him and buy out his condo. I laughed. I knew he was serious, but I couldn't help but laugh. I'd never in my life imagined that someone could be so damn entitled that they'd demand someone give up their home for the sake of another family. Are you kidding me? Brother-in-law then got mad at me for not even considering it, and began justifying all the reasons his family needed our house more. Oh, you'd think this would be the worst part, right? No, it gets better. We never finished the basement, so there is only 1 bathroom in the house. Brother-in-law informed me that if we were to trade houses, that we would need to make some major upgrades first, because he wouldn't have time to be able to make any renovations. He was somehow inexplicably certain that I would see the logic in this plan and just trade houses with them, because they needed the extra space so much more. And now my brother-in-law isn't talking to me, because I laughed through the whole thing and wouldn't take him seriously. Win-win. Go ahead, punish me by not talking to me. At least then you'll stop trying to make me the bad guy, because I have 2 spare bedrooms I quote, don't use. My husband and I each have an office. And tell everyone how horrible I am because I wouldn't buy out your condo at market value while giving you ours out of the goodness of our hearts. Last I know, he was trying to tell my father-in-law to retire and move into the city so that they could have the farm. Joke's on him. Father-in-law already talked about it and has left the farm to me and my husband in his will, because we actually farm, and brother-in-law thinks it's too much work. I always thought the internet exaggerated that people like this exist. I thought situations like this couldn't possibly be real. What the hell are these people thinking? And the most crazy part about this is the fact that he's not even asking to trade houses as OP worded it. He's asking for OP to give him their house while OP buys their condo, and also to renovate the house beforehand too. I really wonder how people can make these kinds of requests and think that it's totally reasonable, and not even see any problem with it at all. What is actually going on in their heads? Held hostage while in labor. This happened a few decades ago. I had been somewhere with friends, and afterward they invited me to visit their home for a while in the evening. We stopped by a corner store for snacks, and while perusing the goodies, I felt like I wet myself. I was full term and my water broke. Not bad, slow leak, but a pretty good sign my baby would be here quite soon. I told my friend, with whom I was riding, and then we went to her house. I thought it was to drop her kids off with her husband and then she would take me to the hospital. When we arrived, we went inside and I told her, okay, now I need to get to the hospital. I knew this because I had already been a few days before for a false labor, and the doctor told me it will be any day now. Her response absolutely blew me away. She said, no, you can have it here. Cool as a cucumber. Since I was getting into a more advanced phase of labor pretty quickly, I couldn't remain standing. So she got some towels for me to sit on so I wouldn't get her sofa wet while sitting on it. She was seriously going to force me to have my baby at her house. I told her again, I need to get to the hospital. But she wouldn't budge. Well, I wasn't willing to do this at her house, with her husband there and all the kids. Ugh. I had a doctor and hospital all arranged, and last second she decides to hold me hostage and force me to do this at her house. I said I need to use the phone. There were no cell phones then, so I used her house phone and called my mom, and covered the phone in my mouth with my hand, and spoke very quietly/whispered directly into the phone. I'm at so-and-so's house. My water broke and she is refusing to take me to the hospital. My mom quickly replied, I'll be right there. She didn't live far, so in a few minutes, there was a knock at the door. They answered, and my mom said, "I'm here to get my daughter." She brought a friend/neighbor with her. They burst into the door, and one on each side, they grabbed me and carried me to the car. The labor was so advanced I could barely stand anymore. They were racing to the hospital and got me there just in time to get me prepped and call my doctor. The doctor made it on very short notice, and in a few minutes, my new baby was here. But what she did was infuriating to me. It just sucked the joy out of my whole experience. After that, I knew she could not be trusted. I did not go to a doctor and make arrangements to have a safe birth and protect my baby, in case there were any last-minute problems, just to have someone hijack my baby's birth and force me to do what she decided just because I was stuck with her at that time. And she made no efforts at her house to get anything ready. I guess she was going to have this happen on the dirty floor? I don't know. What she did was so strange. Who does that? Who hijacks someone in labor, holds them hostage, and forces them to forego the sanitary hospital, where any birth emergencies can be dealt with by an experienced physician and hospital staff, and all the benefits of advanced medical care one has access to in the hospital? Karens call the cops on a homeless man for doing nothing. I work as a baker at my local Tim Hortons. I know, how bloody Canadian. This homeless guy came into the store. He ordered food, sat down, and ate it. He comes in every other day to eat and use the washroom and doesn't bother anyone. When he's done, he goes outside and hangs around a bit. Then 3 girls approach him. They were between the ages of 12 and 16, I think. They started talking to him, and he and the girls kept a respectful distance. After that, the girls entered the store, ordered, and ate. Then crap starts to go down. The girls went up to my coworker and told her that the homeless man was scaring them. Might I remind you that they approached him? The homeless man walked back in and went to the bathroom. Then my coworker said, "He's in the bathroom, so you can leave safely now." The girls refused. He walks out of the bathroom about 15 minutes later and leaves the store again. He goes somewhere else in the neighborhood. Then the girls go outside and call their moms. A few minutes later and the Karens arrive. The girls are crying and were wanting to call the police. Their moms were hugging them and comforting them. They were also giving us dirty looks. The Karens start walking around the drive-thru warning people about the crazy homeless man. I wasn't sure what they were saying to the people in the drive-thru, but my supervisor lost it on them. She told them what happened, and she then firmly asked them to leave. They sat out in front of the store, still comforting the girls. Then 15 minutes later, the cops show up. Everyone at work is in shock at this, and we were all so pissed right off. But we didn't do anything. All this happened outside the store, so we just let it happen. If they came into the store, we would deal with it. The homeless guy walks by again, and the cops put him in cuffs and into a cop car, then got the statements from the girls and Karens. And again, they continued to give us dirty looks. Then a cop came in and my supervisor told them everything, and he just responded with, "Okay," and then left. We also told the cop that we did find broken needles in the bathroom after the homeless guy left, but the girls didn't need to know that. However, we did tell the cop this. Since the homeless man is a paying customer, we will allow him to order from us again, but he's not allowed to use the washroom. We have video cameras showing that the girls approached him and started talking. When they told us he was scaring them, we told them when it was safe to leave. They had 3 opportunities to leave, but they didn't. Honestly, they were just looking for a fight. Lucky for us, we didn't get to interact with the parents. They stayed outside. I feel bad for the homeless man. I hope he's okay. Also, one of my coworkers went to elementary school with one of the girls, and apparently she was always stirring the pot. Update. The homeless man was back the next day. I guess he spent the night at the station. At least he got a bed and a meal out of it. That mask is offensive to me. I work at a veterinary clinic, and we recently had a coworker test positive for COVID, and per company policy, we had to wear masks for 10 days. Anyway, being in public-facing jobs wearing masks, I have taken it upon myself to get fun masks. Sequin masks, space galaxy masks, electronic light-up masks, Spaceballs, the face mask. You get it. Since we're so close to Halloween, I broke out my Ouija board mask. I've received many compliments on it before, but not today. A client is bringing in her dog for a dental procedure. She walks in and I say, "Good morning, who are we checking in today?" She doesn't say anything, so I think she doesn't hear or understand me. Mask. So I repeat myself louder this time. "Good morning, who are we checking in today?" Her response? I can't believe you're wearing that. That is just so offensive to me." And I just look at her like this. Yes, my friends, she was so deeply offended by my Ouija board mask. This piece of fabric with the design on it that's been in our social consciousness since freaking 1886 has literally stopped her in her tracks and shooketh her to her core. 7:30 a.m. It's too early for this crap. Far be it for me to put my clinic in her crosshairs. I simply and politely asked to be excused from the conversation, went back to my locker and changed my Ouija board mask to a plain black mask, while giving my coworker, who was wearing a hoodie with a Ouija board design on the back, a heads up as to who and what was in the lobby. I honestly didn't want to get into it with her over a mask, a silly, funny goddamn mask, and it was no skin off my back to go change it, if it meant saving me from dealing with an even more offended Karen, saving my clinic from an absolutely unhinged Google review, and saving my practice manager the pain in the ass of soothing a ruffled, offended Karen. It has not escaped my attention that the wackos have gotten even wackier, so the best advice, if you have the opportunity to take it, is pick your battles. Entitled strangers demand to see our house, saying it was for sale. This happened around 5 years back. I was outside of our home playing with our dogs when a car stops in front of our gate. I see a group of people get out and start looking around. The conversation goes like this. "Hi, how can I help you?" I said. "We're just looking around." "Okay. Aren't you gonna let us in?" No, sorry, I don't know you. Who are you again?" "We're here to see the house." "House? Our house? Why?" "Because it's for sale." "No, it's not. I live here and it is not for sale." "Well, somebody told me it is for sale." "Again, it's not." "Let me in. I was told this house is for sale and I want to look inside." "You are not getting in. This house is not for sale." My mom then notices the commotion and joins in. "What's going on here?" said my mom. "This person thinks our house is for sale." "I was told that this house is for sale, so I want to go inside and take a look." My mom yells at them once. "This house is not for sale. Go away." The strangers then continue on ranting and eventually leave. Turns out the house they were referring to was the one across us. We found out too late. They did not end up buying the house, and the people who bought it are nice folks. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So take care and I'll see you next time.